What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. So, this is what I looked like 6 years ago. I posted this to Instagram just because it was a memory in my phone that told me, hey, 6 years ago, at this exact day, you actually had this contest. It was called the Flex Cup 2013. So I was like, well, let me just show people what I looked like 6 years ago. For people who haven't been following me for that long, might not know. But I actually got quite a lot of response to it. I posted it on my Instagram stories, like people saying, well, I already had a great structure back then, ranging from you came a long way since then. But the most important question they all asked was, you might have guessed it, were you natural back then? So before attempting to answer that question, let me actually delve into the show itself and show you some different pictures of what I looked like. So this, for example, was a backstage picture right before going on stage. My weight here is actually 84 kilograms. Here are actually some stage shots from me hitting some poses on stage. Here a little bit more of a close-up, of course hitting the side chest. And here you can see that I was already hitting those old school poses, at least, well, attempting to hit them. But all in all, the reasoning why I posted it is because that was the start of my journey to actually become a serious bodybuilder. Because I won this class, I won the junior class, and also the overall of the entire class, which of course motivated me to keep going. And here I'm sitting in the general room, in between the prejudging and the finals. Just sitting there with my dad and my brother, so you can see that they've been supporting me from the very beginning, which is part of the reason why I have called myself, at least this channel, Vintage Genetics, because ultimately the genetics that I have come from my parents. So to elaborate a little bit more on the were you natural back then, this picture was taken a few months before that competition in the summer, I believe in June or July. My birthday is on May 6th, so I was actually just 20 years old in this picture. However, I believe this picture was also a part of my transformation video that got a lot of views on my channel, quite a lot, above 1 million views, which of course I'm very happy about. But this picture has been reposted on several forums asking the question, is this natural? So it has come up several times that I've seen people questioning whether this is possible to achieve. And honestly, it wasn't just a question. Most of the comments, and I mean like 70 or 80%, couldn't believe that this is, achievable by just training hard and eating the right way. So I'm making this video to show everybody what is possible by training hard and of course having the proper nutrition, but mostly the training, the basics is what it's all about. So here you can see a video, of course, of me, different hairstyle, a few years ago, obviously. Again, I was 20 years old here, and this is the time that I actually started, video taping myself in the gym a little bit, just to see how I'm performing the exercises and how everything is going. And right here you can see me doing the dumbbell pullover several years before preaching it on the YouTube channel, because I've always been interested in the old school way of training, because I realized that my physique, that my body was similar, actually responded to the training styles of back in the day. So of course I combined that with doing machines. So this was a chest workout. I, for example, did these dips, and you can see that the mind-muscle connection is there, going all the way up to stretch the chest and going all the way down to contract it. And then after that, doing that dumbbell pullover you saw to stretch out the chest even more. What I'm trying to say here is that I've been training in a similar mind-muscle connection way for many years. I've been training 6 to 7 years before these videos. Pretty much all of those years were in this style, so full range of motion, mind-muscle connection, and progressive overload. And that resulted in the physique that you see right here. This is another example of a picture that a lot of people questioned whether it was achievable by just training and nutrition. I posted this picture on a forum just to show off the progress as I was preparing for the Flex Cup in 2013, my first show, of which, the picture you saw at the beginning of this video, that's where that picture is from that show. And this was in October, so around 2 months before. And people were questioning the possibility of achieving that by hard work, by training, without anything else. And I have to say, you can see the comparison right here. You can see that by training for many more years, under the principles of being competitive bodybuilder, does yield a lot more results. And I've been preaching this for many years on the channel throughout most of my videos, guys. I love bodybuilding because I really fell in love with the training for it. Progressing yourself, getting stronger in the gym, just loving the feeling of going to the gym, working out, seeing the effect it has on your muscles, and every single time I work out, try to improve upon the previous time that you did an exercise. That to me was incredibly fun, and I've done that year after year, resulting in the picture that you see at the beginning of this video of my first contest. If you guys follow me on Instagram and of course this channel, you know that my last contest was a month and a half ago in November, the Romania Muscle Pro Fest. That's what this picture is from. So very recently, and that's exactly 6 years, a little less actually than 6 years apart from the picture that I'm comparing this to right here. Of course, the angle is different, the camera is different, and the resolution is different, but you can see that there was a lot of progress made between the year 2013 and the year 2019. I weighed 84 kilograms on the left, and I weighed at the show 112 kilograms on the right. So that's almost a 30 kilo difference in pure muscle. That difference was achieved by firstly hard, consistent training, not missing a single day, of course taking enough rest in between, proper nutrition, proper supplementation, and exactly what you need to do to be a competitive bodybuilder. So I've said this before in several Q&As. If you want to be a competitive bodybuilder in a professional league, then you have to do the things that the other professionals are doing as well to basically level out the playing field. But remember this, guys, the picture here on the left was achieved by hard work, consistency, being in the gym, beating your weights, getting stronger, proper nutrition, and most of all, guys, have fun in training. I did this contest purely because someone else told me to do it, because I already looked good, because I loved training. I did not work out to do this contest. I worked out because I loved it, and I happened to look good doing what I love, so someone else encouraged me to do a competition, and that was the beginning of everything else. So I have to thank that very first contest and that person who told me that I should do it. I have to thank him and that contest for everything I've achieved up on this point. Of course, it's been amazing. I wouldn't have done any contest at all, at least not back then, if no one encouraged me to do so, because all I did was bodybuilding in the gym. I love to work out. So, to sum up this video, you can achieve a lot more than you think. Of course, there are a lot of fake natties out there, which you have to try to filter out, and I know it's difficult, but do not underestimate what you can possibly achieve. Don't say I have bad genetics. Obviously, I figured out that my genetics were pretty good after a few years of training, but you can achieve a lot more given no matter what genetics you have, before giving in to using something that you think might bring you to another level, which actually might possibly not do anything for you positive at all. So, from my own experience, I have a few tips for you, which are very generalized and which you probably already know, but now you hear me say it. First, maximize your own potential of your genetics, which is going to take a very long time. For me, it took at least 7 years before I did my first show to prove to myself that I even have some kind of talent. Because if I did not win that show, I would not know if I would have continued my bodybuilding career the way that I did back then. Because the following year, I did the same show and won that show again, but that time with a lot better nutrition and actually taking the entire year more seriously than I did before. So first, maximize your natural potential with your genetics by training very hard, consistently, beating your logbook, writing everything down, and combining that with consistent, incredible nutrition. I have to say that every single year that I think I know it all, I learn something new. If it is training-wise, nutrition-wise, supplement-wise, etc., you always learn something new, so never think that you are done learning. I'm pretty sure that by next year, I know a lot more than I know right now, so be open to new information. But what you have to be most open about is that you have a lot more potential, you can achieve a lot more than you initially think, and that's for sure. Why am I saying this? Because to me, it came, well, no pun intended, natural that I looked the way that I did at that show, because I thought everybody looks like this when you train hard. But since the social media era came up, particularly the last few years, people seem to think that a lot of things are impossible, while in reality things are a lot more possible than you think. Anyway, guys, I just want to thank you for watching. Leave your opinion and comments down below in the comment section. I will try to reply to as many as possible, because I do think that this is a subject that will be forever talked about. But at least I've given my opinion about it. Trying to be as transparent as I can possibly be given the social media situation, so I hope you understand the message I was trying to convey. And if you have any other questions or comments, as I said, leave them down below, and possibly I'll do a few of those questions answered in a Q&A episode after this one. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.